Hey guys, welcome back to Startup Central. Today we're going to be talking about conspiracies, so get your tinfoil hat because a number of the things we are going to be discussing are not necessarily facts, but they feel like facts. And I'm going to be talking about how all these semi-facts will affect the price of crypto and specifically of Bitcoin in the coming months. At the end of this video, I'm going to make a price prediction for Bitcoin. And as you know, all the other crypto tokens are closely tied to Bitcoin. So could I be right? Could I be wrong? We'll explore. So let's get started. Okay, guys, there have been a lot of big developments in the crypto industry by regulators and by big people who have a lot of influence, not only in the crypto sphere, but also in the general economy and the politics of every country. As you know, there have been a number of things happening. Binance has been pushed out of the Netherlands. Gary Gensler from the Securities Exchange Commission in the US has been trying to crack down on crypto, and even our friends, the World Economic Forum, have been trying to put their own spoon inside the soup and trying to push things their way. So we're going to be discussing all of this, and again, towards the very end, we're going to try to mesh all these things together and try to figure what the next step of the price of Bitcoin will be and why and potentially when. And again, guys, this is not financial advice, and particularly this video is kind of a crypto conspiracy video, so take this with a grain of salt. It's all things that have been circling in my mind, and you might agree with a number of them, and potentially a number of them you will think I'm crazy, but this is for entertainment purposes, and hopefully you can take some things away from this and come to your own conclusion. So let's go to the browser. Actually, let's go to the presentation and discuss. Okay, so again, this is crypto conspiracies, and we're going to be discussing 1, the World Economic Forum against crypto, what's going on and how is this going to be affecting us. 2, the Securities Exchange Commission in the US and Gary Gensler. If you want to see another video about this, we're going to leave it over there. 3, BlackRock buying or creating its own ETF for Bitcoin. This is going to be approved? Yes, definitely yes, I think so. And how is this going to push the price of Bitcoin? And lastly, again, I'm going to try to sum all this up together and try to figure out with some technical analysis what the price of Bitcoin could be in the coming months. So let's start with this guy, Klaus Schwab. You know this guy. He is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he apparently is in love with CBDCs. Now, guys, if you're living under a rug, you probably have heard, if you haven't been under a rug, you probably have heard of central bank digital currencies. And basically, they are a way of governments, central banks, issuing currency and taking control of what you can do with it, when you can do it with it. Basically, it's programmable money. Now, I'm not going to get into whether this is good or bad, although I got to say, I don't love the idea of CBDCs. There is an upside to them, though. They might eventually substitute stable coins, and particularly US dollar stable coins. And I mean, could be a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that there would be a total transparency, meaning lack of privacy of what you do with your tokens. So if you're paying taxes, I mean, there could be an upside because there could be a more reliable kind of stable coin if it's backed by the US government. Now, of course, there's a ton of downsides, and I'm not going to go through them because I don't want this video to be deactivated by the powers that be. But I'm sure you can find those arguments around the internet and around YouTube. So the World Economic Forum wants to push CBDCs, and not only US dollar CBDCs, but CBDCs around the world, because they enable the World Economic Forum to push their agenda. So guys, these guys have a 2030 agenda, and they want to change the world in ways that kind of are creepy. And one of the tools that would enable them to do this is through CBDCs. Even, there's a ton of things that they're trying to push. One of them is universal basic income, which in theory sounds nice. I mean, guys, you're going to be getting a monthly allowance without having to do anything. But this comes with controls. This comes with problems with your current currencies, be that the euro, the US dollar, or any other currency that is under the influence of the World Economic Forum. Now, here's the thing, guys. Not all governments in the world are in bed with the World Economic Forum. I can cite a few of them. The most evident are China, Russia, but even Mexico. Our president doesn't like the World Economic Forum. Of course, not all political agendas are good. There are some groups against the World Economic Forum, but CBDCs are going to be coming anyway. A lot of countries have announced them. Some of them are going to be testing them like next month, like in the US. And there are some that are already working, like in China. So these are going to be a fact of life. So whether we like them or not. So let's try to make the most of what's going on and try to see the upside. The only upside I see is if you're in the crypto space and there is a CBDC that is linked to our blockchains, be that Ethereum, I doubt Binance Smart Chain, but any other blockchain, then this could be bringing stability to stablecoins. Again, these guys want to push CBDCs, and to do that, how are they're going to be doing that? Well, one way is through regulations. So they're pushing regulations not only for CBDCs, but for the entire crypto industry. Now, again, guys, CBDCs are a competitor of currencies. So they compete against the dollar, the euro, and any other currencies you want. I mean, not CBDCs, stablecoins and crypto like Bitcoin. So they are not fond of those tokens. And once you understand why CBDCs are against all those tokens, you understand what's going on right now in the crypto industry in the Western world, mainly in the Western world. So, so this guy and his company are not in favor of our side, which is crypto. Will they succeed? I highly doubt that. I'm going to give you some reasons towards the end of the video. They initially will have the upper hand, but then I don't think they will be taking out the crypto sphere in general. One of the main reasons is because crypto brings a lot more than just alternative currency. And if you want to keep crypto and the technology, you need to keep all the tokens and all the cryptocurrencies, because otherwise there would be no incentive for regular people like you and I to invest in that technology. Now, so the World Economic Forum, again, this is conspiracy, guys, and they want to take control over a lot of institutions around the world. They have the IMF and other institutions at their disposal to do this. And of course, they are in bed with central banks and the families that are controlling central banks. By families, I don't mean regular people, although, I mean, this is a conspiracy video, so why not? Families of governments, let's say, so we do not get deactivated. So again, the World Economic Forum is trying to push regulations. They have announced this in their website. So we're gonna switch quickly to the browser. And this was published in 2022, July 20th, 2022. And this basically outlines what they want to do and when. So we're already in 2023, so this was last year, but we can see what they plan to do is already underway. Again, guys, CBDCs, don't fool yourself. They are a fact of life. So what will happen with your bills and your coins? I don't know. Some countries might keep them, but some countries will eliminate them. And for CBDCs to work well, they would need to be out of the market. So basically, they are rushing policymakers to act quickly to push the agenda. They say countries should collaborate to avoid regulatory arbitrage. So this means crypto companies going out of, let's say, the US and going to Bermuda or the United Arab Emirates, they want to stop this from happening because as long as there is another country for crypto companies to fly away to and continue developing their technology, the World Economic Forum will not be able to control them. So they want to stop this from happening. Will they be able to do so? I highly doubt that. You actually are seeing Hong Kong, which is a part of China, enabling crypto trading again. So the World Economic Forum is up against formidable opponents. We'll see what happens. Again, they're pushing policymakers to work with the business and technology communities to understand the possible economic impacts that certain regulatory models will create. Now, that's what they say. Again, guys, always pay attention, not to what people say, but to what people do. Are they really working with technology communities and companies? No. They're just pushed Binance away from the Netherlands. They are creating problems for it in France. Of course, I don't have to say anything about what's going on in the US, not only with Binance, but also with Coinbase and any other kind of crypto technology over there. So this is what they say. Now, enough of the World Economic Forum. What I still have to say about that before going on to the next piece of news is that the World Economic Forum does have influence over the U.S. government as any other government. So that brings us to the next topic, this guy. So please write in the comments, do you know who this guy is? Probably you do. This is Gary Gensler. And again, guys, I'm going to let my controls go off-road. I particularly don't like this guy because I don't like hypocrites. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not because of what he's doing. He has to fulfill the roles of his job. He has bosses. But I don't like people who say one thing and then act another way. Back in, I believe it was 2018, Gary Gensler was not in the Securities Exchange Commission. He was talking about tokens that were not deemed securities, and one of them was Algorand, and I believe he also mentioned Ethereum. Now he's going against those. So if he really believed in one thing, now he's acting another way, attacking the crypto industry in general, and those tokens that he personally had said were not securities. So if you have not heard about Chokepoint, Chokepoint is a way of drying liquidity in the crypto industry, and basically he's doing it in the US. So he's trying to prevent regular people like you and I from investing in Bitcoin and any other crypto. How is he doing that? Well, he is pushing exchanges out of the US. He is trying harshly to do that with Binance. He is trying to do that with Coinbase. And there's a lot of smaller exchanges that have closed the doors to US customers and even Canada customers and any other countries because they are scared of what may come from the Securities Exchange Commission, which is being headed by Gary Gensler. So there is an agenda to push them away. And when we get to the next topic, you're going to be understanding why, who's going to be benefiting from this. Because, clearly the regular investor is not benefiting from Gary Gensler or the Securities Exchange Commission. If it was that way, then why would FTX not be stopped before it went broke? And again, guys, Gary Gensler was indirectly or semi-directly tied to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. He knew his parents. They worked kind of together. Another hypocritical thing that I don't like about this guy. So were they protecting investors when FTX went down? Why didn't they check on what they were doing before it was a big problem? Well, because they have an agenda. And again, guys, this is conspiracy. These are not facts. This is just for entertainment. But it's kind of easy to come to this conclusion. Now, again, this guy wants to push crypto away from the US, but not entirely. And we're going to be speaking about why is he doing that? Who is he in bed? And who is going to be benefiting from this? And again, guys, by knowing this, you and I can benefit from this too. How is it doing this with unclear regulations? Some big crypto companies like Coinbase and Binance want to register with the Securities Exchange Commission. Particularly, Coinbase have been trying to do so for years. They have been discussing with the Securities Exchange Commission and consulting with them. I think they have done this at least 30 times. And the SEC has never come back with a rule or a suggestion of doing things differently. So now in 2023, we are already in half of the year. Now they're trying to sue them for not doing things that are unclear. So again, guys, this drives us back to the choke point. They're trying to create havoc in the crypto industry. And we're going to be discussing why in a second. This brings us to the third topic, which is BlackRock. Again, guys, write in the comment section, do you know what BlackRock is, how much money they handle, and how they're going to be able to influence what's going on in crypto? If you do, write it down. If you don't, also let us know, because these guys are going to be present in the crypto industry a lot more than they had been before. Let's go to the browser again and switch websites. So here we have BlackRock. They have filed for a Bitcoin ETF. And again, guys, there's a lot of companies that have tried to do that. And every time they are rejected by, who do you think so? Gary Gensler. Now, this is not yet written in stone. The ETF by BlackRock has not been approved yet. Now, we do know, and here's again part of the conspiracy, which is why this video, I think it's a lot more fun than other videos, because we are allowing ourselves to delve into this conspiracies. So let's talk about who BlackRock is. It's a fund that handles around $10 trillion, which is about the GDP of the US in 1 year. So that's how much money they handle. So George Soros brought down the economy of the UK with a lot less money. These guys could turn around any country in the world. And actually, they have been pushing their own agenda into a lot of countries, a lot of companies with their ESG policies. So ESG means environmental, social, and governance. Environmental, they want to push the green agenda. So that's carbon credits. Right now, it's company carbon credits. So how much they pollute or not pollute, they are graded on that. But eventually, I mean, with CBDCs, they could be grading you and I, and they could be telling us what can we spend on and what we're not allowed to spend on. And they would control us through a CBDC. So they are also interested in this. Now, all of this is coming together. But this, guys, this is the most influential company in the world. How do they push their influence? By investing in companies, by investing in countries, and they have all the money in the world to do so. This guy is one of the most powerful people in the world. Now, again, these guys have filed for a Bitcoin ETF. An ETF is an instrument to trade in the stock exchange. So imagine for 1 second you are a boomer, you are probably 60 years old, but you have $1 million in your bank account. And all of a sudden we are in a bull run and everyone is talking again about Bitcoin. And this guy and all his friends who are millionaires, and millionaires doesn't mean much anymore in the US because of the inflation, but still it's a lot of money. And someone convinces them, maybe you, maybe someone, a millennial, maybe even a Gen Zer, or sometime we are forgotten from the Generation X. But someone told these boomers that Bitcoin is going to the moon, and now they are buying into it. And how are they going to be investing? Are they going to create a wallet, memorize 12 or 24 words, risking forgetting them and losing all their money? No, guys, they're not going to be doing that. They're going to be investing the traditional way. How? Through the stock exchange. And how would you buy Bitcoin through a stock exchange? Well, you buy the ETF, which is an instrument tied to the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, the value of that instrument, in this case, the ETF, will go up, and vice versa. So if they are betting on an ETF, it means that they have seen there's a lot a lot of money that could potentially come their way, improving this 10 trillion to maybe 12 trillion, or maybe pulling part of that money from gold, from real estate, or from any other investments they have towards Bitcoin. And of course, they take a commission on every investment. So if they're investing in Bitcoin, it's because they believe that Bitcoin is going up, which is nice for you and I. Now, is it good that BlackRock is investing in Bitcoin? In the short term, yes, because it's going to be pushing potentially the price up. And then we'll get in a moment to the last topic, which is the price prediction. But in the long run, these guys are, well, this is a conspiracy video, right? So these guys are shady. And again, this is just for entertainment purposes. So let's assume I'm talking about Darth Vader. So instead of mentioning this company, we're going to say Darth Vader. So Darth Vader is shady. Darth Vader doesn't do things the right way. Darth Vader has an agenda, and they do things for their own benefit. Now, you can benefit by them benefiting themselves, but if they take control, if Darth Vader takes control of the crypto industry, then it's going to be a problem. So now you see, guys, a lot of people, powerful people, are trying to influence the crypto sphere through regulation, through control of ESG in this case, and through investment. So we're not going to, this is a rabbit hole. We're not going to be going all the way in because it would take us hours. But suffice to say, guys, that while Gary Gensler has not approved any other spot Bitcoin ETF, they will most likely approve this guy's BlackRock's, because who is in command? So now, again, Darth Vader invests in a lot of companies. Darth Vader controls the economy of some countries, and indirectly, or sometimes more directly, but they do have an influence on the Securities Exchange Commission and on the head of that. So they will most likely be approved. Now, guys, here's the interesting thing. And guys, I always try to frame everything in terms of investing in this industry, and you are potentially an investor. I'm sure if you're following us, you are invested in some kind of cryptocurrency. So how can we benefit from this, and when will this happen? Well, this brings us to the fourth topic, which is the price prediction. So let's go back to the browser and go to TradingView. Now we're going to do a little technical analysis. Right now, we are on a 1 day. Each bar is 1 day, represents 1 day. And as you can see, we have two trend lines. We are getting to a formation, and this formation is a flag. And this flag, we are still within the bounds of the flag. As you can see, every time the price of Bitcoin gets all the way here, it bounces back down. And then now it's hitting the bottom part. And then once it hits this part, it went back up. Now, what's going to be happening when we get out of this range? Well, we're going to be discussing that in a second. Now, what I want you to look at is there are moving averages here. This is the longer term. I think this is a 100-day moving average. And Bitcoin just punctured that it was a floor or resistance, support. And by Bitcoin breaking the support, it could potentially make it go off this range. So this range, technically, we would still be seeing Bitcoin in this range until around here. Now, since it already broke this support, it regained it, it went back up again. But if it does break this support, the moving average, and it does break this trending line, which is another support, and it's a strong support, then the price of Bitcoin will probably temporarily will go down to around 24,000, which is this yellow line. Now, I'm going to show you in a second how are we considering this a support. But what happens, this kind of flag, which is coming down from below, technically in the medium term tells us that it's going to be going up. It's going to be breaking all the way up here, and it might potentially meet two resistance points. One is the 26.8 support, resistance in this case, and then if it breaks that up, which I'm sure it will go easily to $30,000 in the really short term, potentially in a month or so. Now, this is the short term. What about the long term? So let's zoom out, and instead of having each one of these bars be a day, let's have it be a month. And we're going to be looking at the same trend lines, but instead of seeing them in the short term, actually just do this in the weekly. So each bar is going to be a week. And we can see how this support line that we're still following has been in effect since September 2022. It broke this to the downside temporarily, and then it went back up and stayed up, and it hit the support a number of times and it went back up. So right now it's about to hit the support strongly if it does not break down to 23.9, potentially to 22.7. It will go all the way up and hit this one at around $30,000. Now, in the medium term, guys, I am certain that it will break. And again, this is a conspiracy video, but this will be added with the information I just spoke about earlier. What could happen in the world of finance and the world of crypto to push the price of Bitcoin above $30,000? Well, the ETF, if it's approved, it would bring a lot of money to Bitcoin in particular. Now, does this mean that if the price of Bitcoin goes up, all the altcoins will go up? Not necessarily, guys, because the ETF doesn't allow investors to sell Bitcoin and buy Ethereum, or sell Bitcoin and buy Solana or any other token, because it's not available. There are no ETFs for all these altcoins in the stock exchange. So let's say for a moment that BlackRock is able to bring $1 trillion to the price of Bitcoin. It would certainly push the price above $30,000, especially because to do so, BlackRock will have to buy Bitcoin, guys. It needs to be backed by Bitcoin. An ETF needs to be backed up by the underlying asset, which in this case is Bitcoin. So if the richest company in the world starts buying Bitcoin, and you and I and everyone else who is holding Bitcoin is not selling, then the price of Bitcoin will go up. Now, there's another fact, guys. Let's go over here. There's another fact that is really, really interesting. You know, guys, that the Bitcoin halving is approaching. It's going to be happening around, I think it's April next year. So we're already less than a year away from the halving. Every time that we have had a halving in the past, the price of Bitcoin goes to an all-time high. What was our all-time high, our most recent all-time high? It was $69,000 per Bitcoin, and you can see that. And again, let's go to the browser. You see that over here. So potentially we're going to be going to an all-time high of around $69,000. Now, again, all these yellow lines here are resistance levels. So that means that the price of Bitcoin could hit that resistance, go down a little bit, and then push up again. So there are going to be cycles, guys. Nothing goes up in a straight line. So it's not going to be a straight line for Bitcoin all the way up. So let's say we project this support, this purple support, and let's say, assume for the moment that the price of Bitcoin will behave the same way for the foreseeable future. When will this happen? And let's say there are no major news. We are potentially seeing this happening in 2024. If this trend line holds, then that would be November 2024, around November. Now, guys, again, this line is not considering the ETF from BlackRock. It's not considering the halving. It's just a trend line. My belief is that we are going to be hitting that all-time high at around the halving of Bitcoin, if not a little bit earlier. Again, guys, this is not financial advice. This is just my thought. How am I preparing for this? I have been purchasing at lower levels. Unfortunately, I missed the 16,500 floor for the price of Bitcoin. But if you believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to be getting to at least $30,000, and right now the price of Bitcoin is $25,000, you could earn around 20% on your money just by waiting to Bitcoin to hit that price. Now, could the price of Bitcoin go down? Yes, guys. Again, this is not a straight line. And again, let's go back to this analysis, a short-term analysis, and let's go to the daily charts. And we already have broken this trend level, and Bitcoin already broke this moving average. So potentially it could go down to 23,900. And if that is broken, then to 22,700. Those are the most probable supports. There might be a chance for you to buy at those levels. Not financial advice. Could it go even lower? Well, some analysts say yes. I think that the 22,700 or even the $20,000 support is a strong one. And with all this news coming, we might not see a Bitcoin below $20,000 ever, or at least not in a long time. So that is my technical analysis. You might agree or might not agree. I hope this video was useful to you. There was a lot of information here. I think it's important because we are at a pivot, and the price of Bitcoin could shoot up or down, but potentially up in the near term. So I wanted you to get this information to make your own conclusions and to decide whether you want to be invested in Bitcoin or not, in crypto in general. So if you like this video, do like it and subscribe to our channel where we talk about how to protect your money and how to make it grow. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.